You try to pass through life intact, moving slowly, without risking too much, without feeling too much, without losing too much, as if the simple act of not bleeding were a form of protection. But in truth, it's just a silent way of disappearing. Think about this for a moment. How many times have you pulled back from an opportunity because there was a possibility of failure? How many conversations did you leave unspoken because you feared the response? How many dreams did you shelve because the path seemed too uncertain, too dangerous, too exposed? You built walls around yourself, tall walls, thick walls, seemingly impenetrable walls. And you called it prudence, you called it wisdom, you called it self-care. But those walls don't protect you from the world. They isolate you from it. Because the universe doesn't respond to what remains untouched. It doesn't listen to those who never break, who never surrender, who never allow themselves to be pierced by what hurts. Life doesn't bend for those who live hidden from their own impact. It's cruel, I know, but there's a law that no one admits, yet everyone obeys. The universe moves around what pulses, and nothing pulses where there is no risk. This is the truth that frightens you, the truth you pretend not to know, but that haunts you in the silent nights, when you wonder why everything feels so empty, so flat, so predictable. You created a life without shocks, without surprises, without detours, a linear life, a calculated life, a safe life, and you discovered that a safe life is often a life without life. You've grown accustomed to the idea that security means staying distant from danger, removed from any possibility of pain or loss. You think that by distancing yourself from risk, you'll guarantee a smooth path, a life without scratches, without wounds. But what you haven't realized is that true security doesn't lie in immobility, but in the courage to move toward what makes us feel alive, even if it involves a price to pay. Real security doesn't come from avoiding the storm. It comes from learning to dance in the rain, from knowing that you can fall and rise again, that you can get hurt and heal, that you can lose and still continue. True security is internal. It's the confidence that, whatever happens, you have internal resources to deal with it. Not because nothing bad will happen, but because you know you can traverse whatever comes. And that confidence, it's not built in the comfort zone. It's forged in the fire of experience, in confrontation with the unknown, in overcoming what frightens you. Because risk is not what destroys us. Risk is what transforms us. You spend so much time avoiding the cut that you don't realize it's exactly in that cut where the true purpose of living begins. The risk of exposing yourself, of failing, of getting hurt, that's what makes the heart beat in a way nothing else can. And you lose that. You lose the heart's acceleration before an important decision. You lose the adrenaline of starting something new. You lose the vulnerability of saying, "I love you" first. You lose the courage to defend what you believe in, even when everyone disagrees. You lose the moments that define who you are. Because identity isn't formed in security. It reveals itself in risk. You only discover who you really are when you're on the edge, when you're being tested, when you're being forced to choose between retreating or advancing. And each time you choose to retreat, you lose a piece of yourself, small, almost imperceptible, but it's there. And over time, these pieces accumulate until you look in the mirror and no longer recognize who's there. You've become a diluted, pale, faded version of who you could have been. You've spent so much time avoiding the cut that you forgot it's exactly in it that purpose begins to breathe. The wounds are not proof of your weakness. They are the trace of the place where you decided to truly live. Each scar tells a story of attempt, of effort, of courage, of presence. People without scars aren't the strongest. They're the most absent. They're the ones who watched life pass by from afar, comfortably seated in the stands, while others entered the field. And still, you try to stay clean, intact, untouched, as if that were being strong. But strength isn't avoiding the world. It's traversing it and continuing, because the universe doesn't notice those who never bleed, because those who never bleed leave no marks, change nothing, provoke no movement at all, and everything that doesn't move dies in silence. Think about the people who mocked you, those you'll never forget. They're not the ones who always played it safe. They're the ones who dared, who failed publicly and rose again, who loved intensely and suffered, who created something from nothing, who defended what they believed in, even when it was unpopular. They're people who bled, and because of that, you remember them. You chose to live without risks, without marks, without scratches. But the price of that is stagnation. You distance yourself from what can hurt you, but you also distance yourself from everything that can make you grow. The world only recognizes those who dare to be vulnerable, who surrender to what life offers, and who rise again, even after the fall. Sometimes you feel a sense of emptiness, of dissatisfaction. You don't realize it, but this emptiness comes from the lack of movement, from the lack of confrontation with pain and challenges. It's a strange sensation. You have everything you thought you needed: security, stability, predictability, and yet there's something missing, something you can't name. Its purpose, its meaning. It's the feeling of truly living, not just existing. Because existing is easy. You wake up, breathe, eat, sleep, repeat, day after day, year after year, you exist. But living is different. Living demands presence, demands risk, demands that you place yourself in situations where the outcome is uncertain, where you can fail, where you can get hurt. It's as if you're stuck in the same place, unable to connect with what truly matters. Because only when you allow the world to pierce through you do you find your true place. You built a comfortable prison with soft walls, pleasant temperature, perfect lighting, and you locked yourself inside. And now you wonder why you feel trapped. The comfort zone isn't a place of rest. It's a place of atrophy. Muscles that aren't used grow weak. Minds that aren't challenged grow poor. Hearts that don't take risks close themselves off. And slowly, silently, you diminish. Not physically, but in essence, in vitality, in presence. You become a smaller version of yourself, a safe version, a controlled version, a predictable version, and a profoundly dissatisfied version. Perhaps this is what you fear, discovering that to be seen, heard, transformed, you'll need to lose something. An old belief, a love that's already ended, a version of yourself that no longer serves you. And this is the deepest fear, isn't it? It's not the fear of pain itself. It's the fear of loss, of grief, of irreversible change. You know that if you take the next step, you can't go back. That if you open that door, something will change forever. That if you assume that truth, a part of your life will crumble. And it's easier to stay still, easier to pretend everything's fine, easier to maintain the illusion than to face the transformation. But the universe doesn't negotiate. Growth demands loss, always. You cannot become the next version of yourself without leaving behind the current version. The butterfly cannot keep the caterpillar's shell. The tree cannot hold onto autumn's dead leaves. And you cannot grow without releasing what no longer serves you. But there's a beauty that only appears when you let the blood fall. It's the beauty of admitting that it hurts, that it matters, that you're trying, even broken, even tired. This beauty isn't something simple or easy to achieve. It only emerges when you decide to go beyond what limits you, when you accept pain as part of the journey, not as an obstacle to be avoided. There's something profoundly beautiful in trying, in failing, in rising, in trying again. It's not the polished beauty of magazines. It's the raw beauty of real life, the beauty of someone who is truly present, truly engaged, truly alive. When you see someone fighting for something that matters, you recognize this beauty immediately. Even if the person is failing, even if they're suffering, there's something magnetic in the authenticity of that moment, because we all recognize on some level that that person is doing what we all should be doing, truly living. You cannot control life, much less the moments that will challenge you. But you can choose how you'll live those moments and how you'll rise after the falls. And that's where your power lies, not in avoiding pain, but in how you relate to it. You can see pain as an enemy, as something to be avoided at all costs. Or you can see it as a teacher, as something that reveals important truths about yourself and about life. You can see failure as an ending, or as a beginning. You can see loss as destruction, or as the creation of space for something new. The choice is yours. It always has been. And it's in this instant, exactly there, that the universe finally notices you. Not because you suffered, but because you chose to feel. And everything that is felt lives. Feeling is the essence of existence. It's when you feel that you're truly living, when you allow life's weight to transform into something meaningful. Think about the most alive moments of your life. They weren't the most comfortable moments. They were the most intense moments. When you fell in love, when you pursued a dream, when you overcame a challenge, when you lost someone, when you reconnected with yourself. Moments of feeling deeply, completely, without filters. These are the moments that define a life, not the years of security, but the instants of intensity. And what the universe observes is not your attempt to protect yourself, to be invulnerable. What it observes is your capacity to be true to yourself, to take risks, to lose yourself, and at the same time, to find yourself. The universe, life, destiny, God, whatever you want to call it, isn't interested in your mask. It's interested in your face. It's not interested in your performance. It's interested in your truth. And the only way to access this truth is through vulnerability, through risk, through allowing yourself to feel. It's in this exact moment that life opens before you, and you realize that what you feared most, the cut, the wound, the pain, was actually the doorway to a life of purpose. Everything you avoided, everything you feared, everything you ran from, it was exactly what you needed to traverse. The cruel irony of human existence is that the door to fullness is painted as danger. The path to meaning is paved with uncertainty. The road to becoming who you really are passes directly through the center of your fears. There's no shortcut. There's no detour. There's no way to circumvent this fundamental truth. The universe doesn't ignore what feels, and you, by allowing yourself to feel, create movement. You create the possibility of change, of evolution, of something deeper and more meaningful than mere survival. You don't need to be strong all the time. You don't need to be untouched, because true strength lies in accepting that, yes, you will get hurt, but you'll also heal, you'll rebuild, you'll learn, you'll live. Strength isn't the absence of weakness. Strength is the capacity to be weak and continue. Strength isn't never falling. Strength is rising after each fall. Strength is in not feeling fear. Strength is feeling the fear and acting anyway. We've been taught a wrong definition of strength, a definition that makes us fragile. Because when you believe that strength is never breaking, you live in constant terror that someone will discover your cracks. But what if the cracks are what let the light in? What if vulnerability isn't weakness, but rather the most courageous form of strength? And when you allow yourself this freedom, the universe can no longer ignore your existence. You begin to be noticed, not for your perfection or your security, but for your authenticity. Because those who allow themselves to live fully, with all the ups and downs, with all the joys and pains, are the ones who truly make a difference in the world. Think about the people who changed the world. They weren't perfect. They weren't invulnerable. They weren't safe. They were authentic. They were courageous. They were human. And exactly because of that, they resonated. Because of that, they inspired. Because of that, they mattered. You can matter too, not despite your imperfections, but because of them. Not despite your struggles, but through them. And so, without intending to, you begin to realize that living is much more than merely existing. Living is surrendering to what the world has to offer. It's embracing risk, the unknown, pain, and yes, even loss. Because when you choose to truly live, the universe responds. And everything that responds to the universe lives. There's a fundamental difference between being alive and living. Being alive is biological. It's breathing, eating, sleeping. It's functional. It's mechanical. Living is existential. It's feeling, choosing, risking. It's intentional. It's meaningful. And you have a choice every day, at every moment. Will you merely be alive, or will you truly live? So here's the invitation. Not as a demand, but as a possibility. What if you stopped trying to pass through life intact? What if, instead, you allowed yourself to be touched, transformed, pierced? What if you accepted that scars don't diminish your value, but tell your story? What if you understood that the universe isn't interested in your perfection, but in your presence? What if you finally gave yourself permission to bleed a little, to risk, to feel? Because it's there, exactly there, in the moment when you stop protecting yourself from the world and begin to truly experience it. That's when you finally begin to live. And the universe, which has been waiting patiently all along, finally whispers, "Welcome, we've been waiting for you." The choice has always been yours, between the security of silence or the risk of pulse, between the protection of immobility or the transformation of movement, between existing intact or truly living. The universe doesn't judge your choice, but it responds to it. And today, in this moment, you have the opportunity to choose again, to choose to live, to choose to feel, to choose to matter. The question isn't whether you'll get hurt. The question is, are you willing to live even knowing this? Because if the answer is yes, everything changes, and you finally discover what it means to be truly alive.